May the 4th be with you. But what if Star Wars wasn't just a movie?
What if it was actually trying to teach us how to live our lives?
Because it is. Because if you really listen, Yoda might just be one of the best life coaches out there.
Right? Like, do or do not. There is no try. Sir, that feels personal.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, most of us have had a little Darth Vader moment here and there.
Speak for yourself, but also, no, same.
So, let's talk about it.
It's a beautiful chaos, this roller coaster ride. The ups, the downs are spinning all around inside. It's a beautiful chaos. Sometimes I love, sometimes I hate. Have to pause, renegotiate, but with gratitude I appreciate this beautiful chaos.
Welcome to Beautiful Chaos. Today's episode is May the 4th be with you. I'm Staci Miller.
And I'm Tammy Ramsey.
And I am the biggest Star Wars nerd you will ever find. I have a vanity plate on my car that's Star Wars. I keep Star Wars stuffed animals inside of my car because there was a weird cubby and I didn't know what to do with it. So obviously I got Star Wars characters in there.
Well, of course.
These are some of my Legos, my attire.
She made this.
I
she
did.
made this Lego. If you
And
can
I-
see Star Wars.
I actually recently, listen, enjoy your life. And if you listen to the last episode where we talked about who am I am a nerd. And I've always been a nerd, and I'm perfectly fine with the fact that I'm a nerd, and I embrace it. And I'm usually the first person to call it out, because even before it was like cool to be a nerd, I was already a nerd. And so I'm the first person to tell you. And so after my kids moved out, I had 2 empty rooms. And I didn't know exactly what we should be doing with them. You know, it's like home office, and do you create a gym and all the things that you're supposed to do? I decided the big room can be storage/spare bedroom. It's got a bed in there. And the smaller room, I literally turned into what I now call my nerd room. And so it's got a big comfy chair and a nice like reading lamp, and I can sit in there and read a book. I can watch TV, but I also have shelves in there where I keep my cool Star Wars Lego sets because I'm a little obsessed. And actually, you don't know this, but for my birthday, a friend of mine got me a giant, like this big Death Star that hangs on the wall, but it's got shelves on it so I can put all my little Legos on a giant Death Star.
Oh, that's cool.
Anyways, my personal fandom is not the reason that we are here today. We are here to learn the life lessons from Star Wars, because if you actually pay attention to what's going on in the movie, it's very political, it's very real life, and the Force is strong and with everybody, but there is a dark and a light side to everything. And I think that the reason that probably Star Wars has resonated with people year after year after year, generation after generation at this point, is because of that underlying theme of good versus evil, and, you know, having this force around us. And I think that, yes, the characters are fun, and there's a lot of there's battles and love scenes and fights and all of the things that people want out of a movie, but you're getting really good life lessons with just a great backdrop at the same time.
For sure, for sure. So I think that one of the lines that I think you quoted to say, "Hey, let's do this episode," and you quoted Anakin Skywalker, didn't you?
It was not this one.
Not this one?
Let me tell you the one that
I thought
hit
it was
me.
that one.
It's not this one.
Okay.
That's a good quote.
We brought up
Bear
some
with
good
us
quotes.
because we've got lots of good quotes that we're going to go through. But it's actually a Yoda quote. He's talking to Anakin, and he says, "Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering." And I think that is because, you know, Anakin is going through this life crisis of, as a Jedi, you're supposed to cut off all personal ties because your life going forward, it's almost like somebody going into the priesthood, right? Is you don't necessarily cut ties with your family, but we're not having like personal relationships. You're not necessarily getting married. Your life is dedicated to God when you're in that position, right? And so as a Jedi, your life is dedicated to the Force. Right. And so you really shouldn't, he was trying to teach Anakin that he can't get hung up on his relationship with his mom, and he can't get hung up on his relationship with Padme, because he needs to be focused on being a Jedi because he's going to bring balance to the Force. That all sounded really nerdy, but hate does lead to anger. Anger,
Oh, yeah.
you know, we will suffer when we just sit in our hate and our anger. And, you know, we all know that when we're upset, we bring that energy into whatever we're going into. When we're mad at somebody and we have anger at work or at an event or whatever it is that you're doing, you bring that energy in there, and you're really the only one suffering at that point. You might be mad at Jim Bob down the street, but you're the only one that's hurting for that because the guy doesn't even know you're mad at him, right?
Right. 100%. Well, and I think that when they're talking about fear, like fear is the path to the dark side.
Yeah.
I think that fear is like, if you think back to cowboys and Indians, I mean, this is how long this has been going on,
Right.
for forever and ever. Somebody's different from us. So what did we do? We
Right.
feared them, and we
Right.
thought we have to destroy them any way we can.
I mean,
So
that's every war. Every war that's ever happened.
So that's what's happening in Star Wars, which is an example of what is happening in real life in all
Absolutely.
aspects.
yeah.
So, I think fear definitely, like you said, turns to anger, can
So if we-
turn to regret.
Absolutely. If we talk about what are the things that we fear, what I fear the most is failure. Failure is
Yes.
my biggest fear. And sometimes that puts me to where I don't want to put myself out there because I don't want to fail. And so then I don't want to try. We'll get to that a little bit later. But, you know, you do fear of messing up. So you're fearing of failing. You do, like you said, fear of rejection or not being enough.
Well, I actually fear success also.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to let go of that. I've had to recognize, I think, and acknowledging your fear can really help you to understand and release and make you really think. Becoming self-aware is huge because I think that's what Yoda does with a lot of his speak.
Yeah.
Is he's trying to make you self-aware of
Yeah.
what's going on without, totally slapping you in the face with it. And I think that once you recognize, like for me, once I recognize I'm afraid to succeed because then that's going to change my life, and
Right.
this could get out of control, and this could be this, and I'm not going to, and I'm afraid of it.
Yeah.
So same thing, you can fear failure and you can fear success.
I think that also just comes from like a fear of change.
Yes.
Because it's that unknown. There's, I've withheld a lot of things in my life because I'm scared of, well, I just don't know if that's going to look, we get comfortable and whatever. What is it? The devil you know, right? You get comfortable with what you know. And so you don't take that leap and you don't try something new. But when you sit in that fear, it can make you angry and it can turn you into big old grumpy pants. So when have you reacted in anger? Can you think of a time that you've ever... Can you think of a time? I mean, I can think of it as a mom. I think I can think of a million times that I reacted in anger.
Yeah.
When it was probably some sort of fear, because with kids, I think it's easy to, no, you can't do that. No, you can't go here because you're scared. What if something happens?
Right.
What if, and then you're not letting everyone experience all that life has to offer at that point, right?
No, it's true. Because, just like not wanting your teenager to get in the car with senior boys when they're freshmen.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's a
a
very valid fear.
And then when you find out they did, you get mad. I'm not saying who it was, but I'm just saying.
Right.
Then you're mad about it because you're really deep down, it is just the fear of, but this could have happened.
Right.
All that you hear about date rape and all these things, and you have those fears built up.
And those fears, I think, are quite valid in that situation. It is still going to lead to anger, and you are still going to be upset. But I think that, if we think about a lot of the things that we talk about on here regularly, let's talk about the fear of being successful or the fear of failing when it comes to changing your lifestyle, changing your healthy eating habits, right? But I really like ice cream, or I really like cookies, or I really just like to eat, I love food. And so how would I turn that food noise off? And it's just easier not to. And so I'm just going to keep doing what I do, and I'm comfortable. And then, but it's about getting out of those comfort zones and trying something new. Or, like you said, fear of success.
What happens if I do lose all this weight and I quit eating all these things? Am I going to be just a grouchy pants because I'm unhappy because I'm not
I'll be skinny
eating what
and
I
grumpy.
want? Yeah, skinny and grumpy. Who wants to be skinny and grumpy?
Yeah.
Hey, I kid you not. The first time I lost a ton of weight, I dropped like 35 pounds and I was like to size 6. What happened on that path was I had to come to a reckoning in my mind of just because you're going to get skinny doesn't mean you're going to leave your husband. Oh, somebody I knew had gotten skinny, got into bodybuilding, and they ended up leaving their husband and all these things. And for some reason, that was like in my mind. Oh, was it an excuse? It could have been. Could have been an excuse for me to hang on.
Sure.
But anyways, it's still fear-based.
Absolutely.
Because your fear is, that could happen to me.
Right.
So, in anything we do, I think this is a Yoda quote, is it not? Yeah.
It is.
Do
it is
or
the,
do not. It is
the Yoda quote.
There is no try.
There is no try.
There is no try. You have to just see it and do it.
And this is going to sound whatever. Everything I'm going to say, disclaimer, it's all going to sound silly. But
no, it's not.
I think that I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 3 years old. But do or do not, there is no try, I struggled with for a long time. Because when your kids are really little, you're like, just try to like say the word right, or just try to tie your shoes, or just try this new thing, because it's okay to, at least you tried. And that is very important at that age and in those situations. But what we're talking about when you're talking about do or do not, there is no try. If you're going to decide that starting tomorrow, you're changing one habit, because again, we want to bring in everything we've learned up until this point. So you take in everything that we've ever talked about. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and eat healthy and exercise on a perfectly good routine and then remain consistent on everything you ate all day, all the water that you intook, and then all of your new exercise habits. We don't change those things overnight, right? But let's say that you decide today that tomorrow you're going to wake up and you know exactly how you can replace one thing in the morning for something better.
Right.
And you're going to start that tomorrow. Right? Because we always say that you replace one habit with another habit. So if you normally scroll on TikTok for 20 minutes when you wake up in the morning, but you can replace that with 20 minutes on the treadmill in the morning, or you eat some crappy breakfast, but you can replace it with something close to that crappy breakfast, but it's actually a really healthy version of it. These are the things that we're talking about. And so now you either did it or you didn't do it. You can't try to decide that you're going to go get on the treadmill for 20 minutes. You get up and you do it.
Right.
And if you didn't, you didn't. You do or you do not. And you have to take that try out of it in those types of commitments for yourself, because now it's a matter of, I just need to get things done.
Yeah. I just need to full on be 100% invested in what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And that's in everything in life. If you're starting something new, you're going to, put 100% effort into it. You're going to make that decision to fully be immersed in whatever it is that you're doing and focus on being the best version of yourself in that aspect. And trying is more like a built-in exit plan. Right. If we try, I failed, so I might as well just not even.
Right.
And that's something like, I'm going to go to the gym every day. Well, it's unrealistic.
Every day is not realistic.
Yeah. So you have to really be realistic with what you're trying to create.
And you set expectations for yourself. You plan ahead. If you're going to decide tomorrow you're going to change something, you better have sat down today and made a plan or decided, like we were saying, the way you can replace A with B and vice versa.
Right.
Because if you don't have a plan, it is going to become a try and then I tried.
But you really
didn't. It didn't happen.
Yeah. But you really didn't. Because if you didn't create steps to get you to where your goal is, daily steps that you could do to create that difference in your life, that thing that you're wanting to become or the thing you're wanting to do, then you're holding back. Why are you holding back? Where are you holding back in your life? What is it that you're wanting to do that you're not doing? Is it the fear of being successful?
Yeah.
Is it the fear of failure?
Yep.
Fear of being judged.
Right.
Like, remember the first couple of episodes, and I edit our episodes, and I remember looking, and I'm like, I had rolls sitting in those chairs. We had those
that
chairs,
way, and I should have sat that way, and I didn't look good in that color. Yeah, we do that a
totally
lot.
judging, and but I finally was like, that's somebody might be sitting there going, oh, look at her fat rolls, oh, look at that, and I don't care.
But somebody else is looking at that same image and going, wow, I want to look more like that. I want to be a little bit skinnier. She looks good in that size or that way, right? And so we always remember there's both sides to it. Somebody may look at you and think, wow, I wouldn't have chosen that color. I wouldn't have chosen that lipstick, whatever it is, right? But there's somebody else is looking at you and going, oh, man, I want to look up to that person. So there's both sides.
100%. So diets, workouts, goals, you can say that you've tried them for years and this didn't work and that didn't work, but really think back and look and think, did you try or try not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so our another quote is, this is Anakin as he's teetering with his thoughts on going to the dark side. And he says, I have brought peace and freedom to the galaxy. It's very good. Anyways, he's trying to justify the poor decision that he's making and justify that it's okay to go to the dark side and it's okay to be... He doesn't think the dark side is bad guys anymore, right? He thinks that they're doing the right thing. And he's justifying it by saying, I brought peace and freedom to the galaxy.
Yeah. And in what way did he? Because he was controlling it all.
Yeah. And
the Empire was controlling it all.
And he was hurting the people he loved. And he thought that he was making this decision in order to have the people that he loved. And then it made all the people that he cared about not want to be around him anymore. But so basically what we're talking about with this one, the life lesson is, do we justify the bad decisions that we make in our life? And how are we doing that? And is it our ego getting in the way? Are we...
Right. Are we losing ourselves
while
we're thinking that we're so right that we don't want to give up on being right? Which, first of all, if you're married, know this. It doesn't matter who's right. It doesn't. You can have an argument with your husband and you think you're right and you might as well just shut up and say it to yourself. I think I'm right and I'm just going to keep it to myself because it doesn't matter. But that's a whole nother story.
But while we're storytelling, Tammy, is there any bad decisions that you've made recently that you tried really hard to justify your way out of that you would like to tell the class?
I will share with the class. What an idiot. I medically am an idiot sometimes. I figure this out. I think it's because my husband's very wise and he listens to his body. And he's always telling me, why don't you listen to your body? Because I'm going to tell you right now, my body lies to me. Yeah. Or my mind does.
I was going to say, I think there's a stubborn block that starts right here.
Right on the mind. It happens.
Because your body was trying to tell you from the story I heard for 2 weeks something was wrong.
Yes, 2 weeks. So what happened was I struggle with thyroid issues and I got put on an all-natural thyroid, which I was super excited about. I did notice a difference. I went from 30 milligrams to 45 milligrams and I was feeling better. I had more energy. All these things were great. And then I was told by my functional doctor, well, no, I can't say that.
That's okay.
Okay. I was told to increase
Or you decided.
I decided, with information I gathered, that I should increase to 60.
She decided that she was the doctor,
I was the doctor
in her life, and that by using her listen to my body, that she's going to just try maybe a different dose without talking appropriately with who she should talk to. Yeah. And then
so the 60 milligrams worked great. And I felt better than I ever have. Mm-hmm. I was doing fabulous. I lost that anxiety. I lost that feeling of, I felt like my body was like this all the time. For years, I've had moments of that. I've had anxiety and panic attacks for years off and on. And through healthy eating, I've gotten rid of a lot of that. But here, I'm taking the 60 and I'm like, wow, I feel the best I've ever felt. But then I was running out of medicine. Mm-hmm. So I decided to drop it back down to the 45, which I later learned you're supposed to come down off of that slowly. It's not something you just go from 60 to 45.
Mm-hmm. It's also something that we as individuals don't make decisions about our prescribed medications by doctors on our own.
Because we should listen to our doctors.
Uh-huh.
So anyways, today I'm taking the 60.
She fixed it and went back to what she's supposed to be, and now look, she feels great.
I feel great. Well, I'm actually taking the 60, which isn't what it is. I just need to call the doctor and have it upped because I feel great. When I went back to 45, I had adverse reactions, and for 2 weeks I just never slept as much, felt like I was dragging, ended up having cold chills, like all of these, brain fog, you name it. If you list it on there, what happens when you drop your dose of your thyroid medicine?
So when we're talking about justifying bad decisions, if we go back to that, we have, did your ego get in your way? And so regardless of all the who's and what's and how all of this happened, at the end of the day, I think that in your attempt to listen really carefully to your body, you made some risky changes.
Yes.
And then completely forgot that might be part of it because her ego might have gotten in the way.
Just a little bit.
Of making bad decisions. And she was trying to justify her bad decisions and then realized, wait a second, I should be taking care of my body the way that the doctor told me to. And now she feels better. Anyways, I just really wanted to pick on her because I think she was a great example of that specific
That was even doubling down instead of admitting I was wrong.
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm still in denial. Because I think I feel better. I just need to go to the doctor and let the doctor know this is what I did that made me feel better, and I need to continue to do that.
And this is the important part in our podcast where I think we like to remind you guys that we are not medical professionals.
And
any decision that you decide to make based off of what you hear from here, please run it by your doctor first. Even if it's just changing your... how you're taking care of yourself. If you're gonna, drastically change your diet, definitely talk to your doctor. If you're going to change your workout routines, that's important that you run that by your doctor as well.
If you're gonna start a workout routine, it's important to talk to your doctor, because if you've not been working out for years on years and years, and you have extra weight that you're carrying, you might want to make sure that all of your blood work and all of your things, and that your doctor says it's okay for you to be.
Yep, absolutely. Be careful and take care of yourself.
So I don't know if this is an actual quote, but
no.
Yeah, but so the biggest thing is if you don't believe in yourself, so we're going to go back to kind of the Yoda thing, try or try not. But if you believe in yourself, then that belief will shape your outcome.
Right.
And sometimes it takes somebody else believing in you.
Right. Which I think in the movie, that's what was happening, right? Because Luke we knew genetically that he was Anakin's son. And so he had it in him to be one with the Force, to become a Jedi, do all of the things, right? But he wasn't raised that way, and he didn't believe any of it. Mm-hmm. And so he's trying to train with Yoda, and I think Yoda just thought, like, genetics was going to jump in, and he was just going to be amazing. Yeah. And we all know he was incredibly whiny in the first movie. And all Luke did was whine and whine and whine. And finally Yoda's like, oh my gosh, just do it or don't do it. But quit whining about it. That's what he was really saying.
Yeah.
And then that was him trying to believe in Luke. And I think from there, Luke started to believe in himself and was able to do more instead of try and fail.
Yes. So he built up confidence, and that's another great lesson in life. Like, only through practice.
Right.
Only through practice and doing
can
you build confidence and create the capability to do whatever it is you're trying to succeed at.
Yep.
So we're not just naturally... Think about kids that are like... well, I want to be Michael Jordan and play basketball and be the superstar. And they've never picked up a ball.
Right.
And they don't understand.
Or they're only wanting to practice like 5 minutes a day.
Yeah. And they don't understand, like, Michael Jordan lived and breathed that. And he shot 100 baskets, 100 free throws every day.
Yeah.
Even all through his career.
Right.
That's every day he shot 100 free throws on top of all the practices and all the work that he did. Mm-hmm. So you got to do it.
So that brings us to your focus determines your reality, which is what she's talking about when it comes to Michael Jordan, right? He focused on basketball all the time, and that became his reality. And then that's where all of his progression in life continued to go. And so where's our focus? What are we looking at? What are we putting all of our time and energy and effort into?
If you're scrolling Facebook, and I'm going to pick on Facebook, and you're seeing all negative things, or you're seeing, I don't know, if you have whiny friends like that only share these dramatic moments, and you would think, gosh, like they don't have a happy moment at all. Like I had a friend like that, and I'm like, man, I just gotta not,
Or friends that are really political on either side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And you just want them to kind of come down the middle a little bit, get a little bit closer to reality.
Yeah.
It gets frustrating scrolling through Facebook for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah. So focus on what's going to grow you as a person and create what you want to create. First, you got to know, what do you want to create in your life? What kind of person do you want to be? Like for me, I want to be this open-minded, loving person. I want people to be able to look at me and think, well, she's authentic and she's somebody that really cares about people, because I do.
Right.
And so that's all of my stuff that I try to learn is all like psychology stuff and personality things, because I want to know what makes people tick, what makes me tick, like just focusing on growing as a person to the best of my ability.
And also the people you surround yourself with, you will innately start to mimic some of the things that they do or some of their behaviors. So if you're constantly surrounded by negative people who like to talk negatively and pull other people down, you will start to build that in your mind. Whether you say it out loud or not, your self-talk is still going to be the negativity and the things that you hear all the time. I've changed jobs before, to be honest, because of constantly hearing negativity and then constantly feeling negativity and being like, this isn't me. Like, this isn't who I am. And I need to be away from people that are constantly feeding negativity into my life.
Right. What do you want to be around? Something that's chaos and negative, or people that are in gratitude and positive and feel all the good things.
And sometimes you have to do like a really good Facebook friend clean out also. I think those are important, because if you're going to spend time scrolling, you don't want it. Like sometimes I'll even go through, if I see an ad over and over again and I just don't want to keep seeing it, I will start blocking certain ads, and I know I'm still going to get ads, and I know I'm just going to get different ads. Yeah. But when I get the same one every single time I open Facebook, I don't want to know that much about a drug I'm never going to take or a product I'm never going to buy or whatever it is. I'd rather, if I have to be fed ads, Facebook can keep changing its algorithm and try harder, because I don't want to hear things about things that I'm never going to be interested in. So, but we have to sometimes do that with friends on Facebook too, because like you said, some people they use it just to dump all their negative thoughts out. Yeah. And so sometimes you just have to let those fake online friendships with those people go. And maybe you're still going to be friends with them in real life, but it's okay to find safe spaces for yourself in whatever that looks like, whether it's filtering out your Facebook feed or spending less time with certain people, or finding a way to like create a safe zone when you're at work that, hey, I just need to be here and focused for a little while. Yeah. But you'll know how to put that into play in your life. So now there's another great quote that is in every single Star Wars movie, every single time, but it started, of course, with Han Solo. And he says, "Never tell me the odds." Because C-3PO, I'm just going to
go ahead.
The nerd
yes,
thing,
do it.
because they're trying to like, I think they were getting to hyperspace or something. They were trying to do something that wasn't really going to work.
Oh, that's right.
And C-3PO is super smart, so he's doing the math and he's like, I don't think this is going to work. Never tell me the odds. And every time there's some way to get that in every Star Wars movie, and there's always a droid being told, never tell me the odds.
And I love that, because if you were told, all right, with this podcast, and I have no expectations of where this is going to go and
Sure.
what's going to happen. But if somebody had said, "Oh, posh, you're
9
why,
out of 10.
why do that?
Fail
9 out
in
of
the
10,
first, this week's, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell me, because I'm gonna have the experience and just give it my best shot.
Yep.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yep.
Like, if people enjoy it, they enjoy it. If not, then they don't.
Right.
Like, whatever.
Well, and you think about, I mean, this is obviously drastically different thing, but sometimes people I'm thinking of the times where we're actually told odds in our life, right? And sometimes it's when you have some sort of medical condition or you're facing some sort of diagnosis, right? Well, odds are da-da-da. Okay, cool. I don't need to know the odds because odds can make you doubt yourself and make you not like try and progress. And so don't tell me the odds. I'm going to do the best healthy food, course of action, exercise plan. I'm going to take whatever meds you tell me to take and we're going to beat whatever this is. It's the same kind of thing.
Right.
There's no sense in telling me the odds.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, I don't know who this comes from. In my experience, there is no
There's
such
thing as luck. I don't know where it comes
also
from, but I think that it is important because there is no such thing as luck, right?
No, we make our own luck. We create our own outcomes with the discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, like, if you think about other, like, little places where I actually think would use the term luck, it's usually a God thing, right? It's that God made this thing happen or put this thing there. But also, in order for certain things to, what do they say? You can't win the lottery if you don't play.
Yeah.
You can't be lucky in winning the lottery if you never played, right? So, it's that same sort of concept of discipline and consistency. And I'm not saying discipline yourself and play the lottery every week, but like you can't just get lucky and get healthy if you didn't put in the discipline and the consistency. You can't get lucky and lose 20 pounds if you didn't change your eating habits, increase your water intake, et cetera, right?
Right. I love that.
This quote is great when we talk about anybody in politics. And it's the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. And that's just a funny one. I don't know that we necessarily need to get into it, but if we just say, and I'm not talking about any one specific political leader, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying in politics in general, I will constantly want to say the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. And if any of you use this as an excuse to knock on Jar Jar Binks, I actually really like that character. So there.
We are what they grow beyond.
And so I think we want to tie this one into parenting. Yeah.
Letting go of our kids. And I think that getting that, understanding that that's our job, like you said, you were told.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it was
Nicole.
Yeah,
Of
Nicole
course.
that did. Yeah, and so you were told, and you had that great knowledge of, and Kevin told me, do you want to raise good children or responsible adults?
That's a big one.
Big
And
one.
also, like, I think when we talk about grow beyond is, I've seen this one a lot recently where, we always say we want our kids to be better than us. We want our kids to have more than us, whatever. But if we're then jealous of the fact that they're living their life mentally healthier or whatever, that we can't do. And likewise, when your kids start making really great decisions and they're probably much better parents than you are, they shouldn't look at you and go, why didn't you have this figured out? Generationally, we've all grown up very differently with very different lenses on life. Yeah. And we do want our kids to be better than us. And so when they are, we can learn from them too. And then let them continue to teach more to your grandkids who are going to be far better than all of us. Yeah. And it's exciting.
I learned a lot of my, I'm always into updating parenting skills. And with, when Trishelle went to school, we would have lots of conversations and I felt like, well, this is things that I want to do with grandkids. So then as the grandkids came, a couple of them would have temper tantrums. And I would go to Trishelle and say, okay, how should I handle this?
Right.
Or even to my sister-in-law, Kimmy, who's a counselor.
Right.
Okay, how should I handle this? And I would take in all that information and then I would try to incorporate what I had learned from them.
Because we used to, and I'm not saying any of us, but maybe our parents, kid throws a temper tantrum, kid gets spanked. kid gets sent to their room to go and tantrum somewhere else, right? But now we're learning through either our more healthy children or the next generation or somebody who's maybe had some good therapy or whatever the case may be, that, you know, young kids have a little, you know, tantrums. They're coming from really big feelings that they don't know what to do with.
Yes.
And it's just like when babies cry because they're hungry, they cry because they need something. They're not crying to be annoying. They're crying because they have a need. The temper tantrum is being thrown because they have a need that's not being met, whether it's, I mean, it might be because they didn't get a toy, but we all know that at the end of it, it's probably that they're very tired.
Right.
They're very overstimulated. They're over the day, whatever it is. And then you learn how to have more appropriate conversations. And I was always told, like, don't reason with a toddler. You know, why are you trying to reason with a toddler? But then you look at it and it's like, yeah, but you do have to squat down, get on their eye level, have a conversation, find out where these feelings are coming with. And to some, it might sound like you're reasoning with a toddler, but to others who are cognitively healthy when it comes to their kids, they know that they're actually giving them an opportunity to express their feelings.
Right.
Maybe we don't agree that you're really mad that the banana was peeled wrong. But that's okay. That's still the big feelings that they're having in that moment.
Right. And sometimes they just need to name that feeling also, because that's one thing I think that's very helpful, is if they can understand, well, what you're feeling is frustration, what you're feeling is anger. You know, you're upset because, you know, you wanted this toy and you're disappointed that you didn't get the toy. Right. I think another good thing, I'm going to give you an example on the toy thing too, is to have conversations with your toddler. Mm-hmm. I mean, people all the time, I'm like, they might not even be communicating. Like they might say just a few words. They're not like full sentences yet, but I'm going to tell you right now, their minds are like sponges and they know more than you think they do. Right. And I will have conversations, grandkids, all ages, and say, okay, we're going to go into the store and I'm going to get XYZ. And today we're not getting a toy or candy because I'm in a hurry. Right. So we're going to go in and do this. Okay. And we go, and then there's no meltdown. Because, but if I don't have that conversation, set this, and I just let it, you know, throw it up in the air and wish for the best, then there's
kids really thrive on a schedule and a routine. And so when you don't tell them why you're going into the store or what you're doing next or what's going on, it's really hard for them. They're not just a accessory hanging out in the car seat in the back seat. They are also human beings who want to know what their life looks like on a daily basis. So on that note, what does your life look like right now? Are you being more like Luke, where you're growing in life and you're learning maybe a new skill and you're trying to grow some confidence?
Or are you being like Anakin? Like you're struggling or justifying your bad decisions. You think that you're making a good decision, right? But what is that actually based on? And what does that make you feel inside? Because if there's any ick to it, then it's probably not the best decision.
And where in life do you need a little more Yoda? The great thing about living for 800 and some odd years is that he had plenty of time to get things figured out. So when he had his like little one-liners, they're profound because, and you know, even in the biggest chaos that we've seen Yoda face, he was always calm. And part of that is, you know, we could make a lot of religious comparisons between the Force and religion also, but Yoda knew at his 800 and some odd age that going into a really intense battle, even if he lost that battle, he knew where he was going. And it was to become one with the Force. But, you know, we can all look at that and know that, you know, our future belongs with Jesus and our future is in heaven. And so we can face really scary battles in our life, knowing that even if the worst happens, where we're going to. But that's why I think Yoda was so calm in the chaos, was that, one, he's seen it all, been through it all. He knows he's going to come out fine on the other end. But if he doesn't, for some reason, he knew exactly where he was going.
So maybe the Force isn't something out there.
Right, but it's something that we already have in here.
And maybe the real question is,
are we using it? Listen. Yeah.
Maybe, and if you can't listen to your own body like me,
listen
to your friend.
Listen to your inner person. We've had this conversation before. The stone, she waited till she got to the brick wall.
Yeah, So, okay. I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we hit it all. We've done all the things. If you want to share any comments, feel free to do that.
And on this May 4th, we just hope that May the 4th be with you all. Yes. And
stay empowered. I was like, what? Where are we going?
That was